Welcome to the 8th video of our soil testing series, where we'll look at soil compaction layers. Soil compaction layers, sometimes called hard pans or plough pans, are layers of very dense hard soil within the top soil layer, having lost adequate macropores and structure. Compacted layers can slow down or even stop plant root growth and water infiltration. Compacted layers are often caused by heavy equipment travelling across the soil surface, especially when it's moist, and from different types of cultivating equipment, cutting at the same depth each year after year after year. Stock can also cause compaction of soils, especially near gates and camps where they spend a lot of time. In compacted soils, plant roots have reduced access to nutrients and water, and they don't grow to their potential, reducing plant growth and soil organic matter inputs back into the soil. Compacted soils are less able to take up additions of new soil organic matter, and over time they decline in the soil organic matter and the soil organic carbon. However, as microbes have reduced access to soil organic carbon in compacted soils, soil testing can sometimes reveal higher levels of soil organic carbon. However, this soil organic carbon is of no use to the plants. To test for compaction, you'll need to fashion yourself an instrument. We call them a penetrometer. Here, I have a fancy one. This one has a pressure gauge, but you really just need a steel rod with a point and a handle. I've even heard of farmers using a really long pencil. Choose an area in the paddock that you want to measure, preferably near the site of the other soil health investigations that you have undertaken. Using only moderate pressure, push the penetrometer into the soil. Feel for any differences in that strength required to push the penetrometer into the soil, and note the depth at which this occurs. If a rock or a tree root is hit, move to another site, and repeat this a few times to get a really good feel for the soil. And just note, it's important to take the penetrometer readings when the soil is at water capacity, so not too wet and not too dry, else it'll be too hard or too easy. Compaction layers are usually found about 5 to 10 centimetres below the soil surface. The subsoil is denser than the topsoil and could be mistaken for a compaction layer. Compare the depth to the compaction layer that you found with the penetrometer with the topsoil layer, if that is known. You can also perform this test where there is stock or wheel tracks or under plants to notice any differences in soil strength and locate any compaction. Roots can also tell us a lot about what conditions they are experiencing. Digging up a few plants can also reveal if there are any compaction issues, such as roots growing down, then growing sideways around that compaction. That's what we call a J root. Using the soil health scorecard, we can assess compaction. We can see if the soil health is poor, so the soil is hard, the soil penetrometer will not penetrate the soil, and that gets a 1. Is it fair? The penetrometer penetrates with difficulty to less than 15 centimetres. That gets a 2, or good. The penetrometer easily penetrates beyond 15 centimetres and gets a 3. We can see that soil compaction has a weighting of 2. This means that we can take our score and times it by 2. This soil health factor is moderately influenced by decisions we can make as land managers, such as no-till farming, controlled traffic grazing across the paddock, and grazing management, especially when soils are wet and most vulnerable.